Alright, so real quick before we get into the video, usually we have a skit or something here, but actually, our good friends at forreal.fan have a YouTube channel. So if you guys would go check it out, would greatly appreciate it. They have helped sponsor our videos previously in the past, asked us kindly if we would mention their channel over here, and figured why the heck not. So anyways, outside of that, just enjoy the video. Pew pew. Listen up, Rangers, welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve.
I'm Jessica.
And today we will be going over the Studio Series Leader Class Shockwave from the film Transformers Dark of the Moon. Sadly, we already filmed this previously, but seems like the box portion of this video is currently not in my possession anymore. So we're going to go over this one more time. So sadly, don't have the packaging for this guy anymore. Just to let you know, if you guys had the package, if you take the insert out of it, it makes a little backdrop for this guy. Outside of that, it was just kind of black and boring.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much typical studio packaging. If you've seen one of them, you've seen them all. Yeah. Anyways, the main reason we decided to pick up this guy is one of my more favorite Transformers from the movie, at least design-wise.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Personally, like, between the original Dark of the Moon and Bumblebee are my favorite Transformer films. He was definitely probably the most standout character, well, at least the standout design from Dark of the Moon. So I decided to grab him. Now, the thing is, with this guy being a leader class, he's larger than the Voyager, but not like your general leader class size, per se. Like, even Studio Series wise, like the Grimlock is actually much larger than this figure, which is odd to say the least. But decided to grab him because, again, like the character, and pretty much have like most iterations of him from other TV shows anyway, so figure might as well grab this one too. So anyways, since we don't got his cardboard prison, I guess we'll just get into him. Now that we got Shockwave opened up out of his cardboard prison and he's a little confused, first and foremost, we'll go with his accessories, starting with this paratrooper dude. Because, why not, I guess? It's kind of neat. For the most part, I think if you are going to be displaying Shockwave with this character in particular, you're probably going to be doing just the way I had him posed anyways, with this draping over top of him. Well, I guess you could probably hang it off your shelf or something. But just like one lone paratrooper, I don't know. It's kind of silly. It's a little silly, to be fair. But like detail-wise, like, he's got a little bit of molded detail on the body. You can tell he's... To be honest, it looked like to me he was wearing like a full helmet, sort of like RoboCop, when just like a little bit of the mouth. But there's like glasses and stuff there. But there's not really much else going on. Like, he's got a little bit like the backpack. I kind of wish this was a little bit bigger though. Like, it just being this rectangle, it doesn't really drape over top of Shockwave very well. That, and it kind of gets tangled up too with how much rods they have. And it doesn't really do its parachuting. So it's kind of like a nifty little display option, but for me, probably just hang out in the box. And then you get two of the tiny Transformers with Wheelie and, well, there's supposed to be a brain. But as you can see, I got two Wheelies, which I think is fine because I like Wheelie better than Brain anyways in the movie. But it would have been kind of nice to actually get the other Transformer that I was supposed to. So that's a bit of a bummer. On a high note, at least I guess I got an extra wheelie just in case if something happens to it. Like if the one breaks, I have a backup wheelie. So that's kind of cool. He's definitely super flexible though. Also, as you guys can see, really, really tiny, very easy to lose. To be fair, he's got a better paint job than the paratrooper does though, which is kind of depressing. As you can see, he's got like some blacks, some blues here and there. Like, not much color variety, but at least like portions that probably should be painted are at least painted on this guy. So I appreciate it. He doesn't really stand by himself though. Like, I guess if you really tried your hardest, you might be able to, but for the most part, you're probably going to prop him up next to something. Again, probably another accessory that more than likely just hang out in the box. Oh, we actually forgot one thing before I get too far into this. Where'd it go? Alright, didn't want to get too far. He has a little arm spike thing. Which kind of sucks because this is just soft rubber. Like, I get it, you don't want to hurt the kids, but it kind of looks poopy. Like, you got a little bit of like a paint job to give it this metallic look to it. But, I'm not a fan. Definitely not a fan. Especially because, like, the Studio Series, I feel like is more geared towards collectors. In a sense, like, they're still, like, fairly inexpensive. Like, they're not masterpieces. Not even close. But I feel like with the accessories being, like, more movie tie-in stuff and what have you, that it having, like, the hard plastic, I don't think a lot of, like, super duper young kids are going to be playing with this, so having something that's a little bit more durable, I think would have been great. Because to be honest, he has a lot of it. Like, his hands are flexible, which again, I guess is more of a kid's thing so that they don't hurt themselves on that. But like the spiky bits here are soft too. This guy, well, no, that's just plastic, but it's flexible plastic. Trying to figure out what else, because he's got his thumb here that's also flexible. The tube back here, well, of course that should be flexible. The tip of the gun is soft rubber. Like, he's got a lot of it. Now I know there's like a third-party kit, I guess, that you get a lot of replacement stuff for. That could be something to look into if you guys are planning on picking this up, just to give it a little bit more of a high-end collector feel. Because for the most part, with a lot of this stuff, to me, it makes them feel a little cheap, to be fair. Granted, safer for kids, but for collecting purposes, not quite what you want to be seeing on your Transformer. To be fair, though, if he is just standing on your shelf, though, detail-wise, he looks amazing. Because even with, like, the soft bits, it's not really going to hamper his display ability, if you will, because it's still got, like, detailing on it, so it does stand out still pretty nicely. Like, the molds are still really nice, too. Like, his hands look good. He's got a little bit of metallic paint on the tip of the nails. Same with the end of the barrel. Like, it's painted appropriately. Kind of wish it could rotate. That'd be kind of cool. But sadly, no little gimmicks. But starting with the head sculpt, looks nice. You got his one cyclopean eye, very representative of Shockwave. He's got the little horns on the side of his head. What appears to be like little teeth inside of his mouth. Like the plating here, I got like mouth, it's a loose term, but with the plates around the lower portion of his head. Top of the head is done in a purple color scheme. The front of the helmet is definitely a lot more purple towards the back of the helmet. What's nice too is you can actually get quite a bit of posability out of that with the articulation. Chest piece here, got a lot of purple on it too, but again, you can see a lot of the nice molded detail for all the armor and the transforming bits, if you will. Moving around to the back, you get the what I assume is the propulsion for like his tank mode, because for the most part the wheels are mainly down here, so this is probably the back portion. I haven't actually transformed them yet. We'll get to it here in a few. But looks fairly decent as well. Not really too much else going on with it. There's a little bit of copper coloring here for some of the piping bits, and then a metallic silver for the top section. What's cool too is these actually can pose in and out. For the arms, this side you have his giant cannon, which is cool. Also, it's odd that it has a thumb right there, like it's going to be gripping something. It's still like, I guess I can't complain about extra posability, but it's just an odd choice, to say the least, because I don't really, like, he's not holding on to the gun, at least from what it looks like. Like, it's definitely a molded part of his arm. Like, this ain't going anywhere. But it's cool, super gigantic. Again, very Shockwave-esque, because he did have the one cannon arm in the G1 series, and same with the movie, so I do definitely appreciate it. It's actually, to be fair, a lot more impressive looking than what we got with the old Dark on the Moon Voyager figure, which I still actually have. It's don't really buy too many of the movie Transformers much anymore, or even have, because for the most part I've sold quite a few of them. But definitely kept Shockwave. Like, he was one of the more, I think, interesting and more G1 appropriate characters to redesigns. The other hand's a little bit more boring. You just get the little claw bit thing there. Technically, you could also probably just put this one on over here if you really wanted to, because you do have the little pipe down here. I think that's it though. So for the most part, it's going to be hanging out in this end. It's just frustrating because like the peg is rubber too, so it flexes when you want to try to get it in there. But still looks pretty good. It's just a lot of gunmetal grays, a little bit of purples here and there over top of the armor plating. For the legs, fairly thick. You get some of the treads back here for the tank mode. Then just kind of like, God, it's like when you're trying to hold on to them, the feet just kind of want to go wherever they feel like. The only real negatives I see for the feet primarily is this part back here just kind of hangs out. It doesn't really do anything. Like, I guess you could kind of consider it like added support, but I wish they would maybe like hook into something, because it just likes to flop around and kind of get in the way of articulating. But he's got some spikes in the front. Looks like little Triceratops shoes.
It does.
It's kind of, he's even got little sockets for like where the little pegs are for eyeballs. Looks dope. I kind of want. Man, that's one thing I wish, like, being adults, is we got like fancy little shoes like the kids do, like the Transformers shoes, like back when these movies were coming out. I would have bought them. They came in a size 13. Even give me some, give me the Triceratops shoes. I accept them. For the articulation for this guy, again, head does a lot of crazy. Can rotate all the way around. A little bit side to side. Like, I guess technically it can only really go down about yay far, up about that far if you want to keep it looking semi-normal anyways. For the arms, go up about that far, down about that far. Rotates all the way around. No real rotation at the top, but you do get a rotation at the bicep here. Single jointed elbow. Hand can go forward and back. No side to side. Because the gun arm is a little different, I'll go over that too. For the most part, the shoulder is going to be the same. But there is no real articulation at this section down here outside of the little thumb right there. But do be warned, like this I don't feel like it's going to rip off, but when you're articulating it, the tube can kind of get in the way. It also has a little bit of articulation back here for the tube as well. Nothing at the body. For the legs though, can go forward about yay far, back about that far, so you can pretty much move them however you want. Straightens up about that far, so Shockwave, once it hooked in, these don't really like to stay in very well. He can do the splits. Goes down about yay far, rotation at the top of the thigh, single jointed knee. This can adjust too for the plate for the knee pad, and then for his feet can go pretty much all the way back, all the way forward. You kind of like adjust it around, and then a little bit of single-sided motion for it as well. Hey, here's Shockwave in Cybertronian tank mode, whatever you want to call this hodgepodge. Usually with the Transformers, I usually don't go over the transformations, because for the most part, I like to leave that up to you guys, because I feel like that's kind of like the fun thing, is sitting here and going through the transformations and trying to figure it out. So for the most part, let's just something obscure. I usually don't go over the entire thing, because these videos are going to be long enough as it is. Nothing really too crazy on this guy. It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple transformation. For the most part, it's just the legs pull out, wrap around, you spin the arms around, that hooks onto the back, the tube flips in, you just plug it into a different port on here, and for the most part, you just peg it in and you're done. Outside of that, yeah, it just looks like he's kind of like, you pretty much, you still see like all of the Shockwave, right? So there's not really anything hidden. Like, I get it that it's the Cybertronian version, so it's not going to look anything like what you get on the Earth mode, but then again, there's also like, you see the hand just kind of chilling there, his head's still mostly fully exposed, his feet, while still look pretty gnarly, or just his feet. Yeah, was never really a big fan, but then again, it's like in the movie, you don't really see him transformed anyways. So for the most part, for me, for the transformation mode, it's cool that he has one, but for the most part, like I would never keep him on a shelf like this. You want to keep him on the shelf like this?
Not really.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the original one in tank mode, I think.
Yeah, I think he's still showing in tank mode just because we did the video and I never untransformed him. I'm kind of lazy about these, if I'm going to be honest. But for the most part, nothing really too stand out with the detail because, again, you pretty much saw all of this in the robot mode. And there's nothing really that was hidden from the eyes. Which is a little sad. Let's quick comparisons here. We have Shockwave compared next to some other Studio Series Transformer figures with Grimlock from Age of Extinction and Jazz from the first Transformers film. And here he is with some original Transformers Voyager figures with the Shockwave from Dark of the Moon, which I still think is a better vehicle form, but anyways, and the Revenge of the Fallen Voyager Optimus. And here he is with some original Transformer leader class figures with Optimus and Megatron from the original film, which, man, they just don't make them like they used to. Granted, they look more like the actual movie, but like, look how much plastic. Look. Alright, Shockwave, you're winning, I'm sorry. And here he is next to some other Shockwave figures with the Voyager class Shockwave from Transformers Prime and the Deluxe class one from Fall of Cybertron, which I'm now realizing that they all have different guns, arms, and Mr. Dark of the Moon here. Hey, here's some other random guys hanging out in my office currently with the Estes Monster, it's King Ghidorah 1991 version, and the bootleg Megatron from Beast Wars, the Masterpiece Edition. So overall, for the Studio Series Leader Class Shockwave figure from Transformers Dark of the Moon, this guy's okay. I'm having a hard time stomaching the $50 though.
Yeah, that's kind of low. I mean, like maybe 40, but...
Yeah, well, it's just like, compared to some of the other like older Leader Class stuff, he's not really that impressive. Like, the transformation form is fairly simplistic. Granted, he comes with some more accessories than what you usually see with the Transformer figure, so that's kind of cool. But does have a lot of soft bits. And, again, for the most part, like, articulation and transformation's a little bit kind of boring on this guy, to be honest. So, for the most part, you're going to be buying him just to have him in robot mode. Which is not really why you want to buy a Transformer, right? You kind of want to buy him because you could flip, you kind of go between both modes. And for this, like, I probably shouldn't be as hard as I am being on it because in the movie, it's not like you really had to transform form anyways.
No.
Like, for this is like one of the Transformers. I wish instead of having a transformation mode or something, like, granted, it's nice that he has at least this going on. I wish he would have had the drill snake thing that he had. Or even just like kind of like a base to kind of replicate it, if you will.
That'd be pricey, though.
Well, that'd be it too. Like, this guy, because he's already not really quite a leader class for me. Like, he's pushing it. And kind of like what we have with Skylinks, the new Skylinks, and like the Jetfire, where they're a little bit more expensive than your standard leader class. I think he definitely could have benefited from that a bit. And it just kind of gave you everything you associated with Shockwave from the film. So the way he sits, if you're not planning on picking up the upgrade kit, I would probably pass on this guy unless you just really like Shockwave. Because the robot form, again, still pretty cool, but for $50, not quite doing it for me. But what do you guys think? Have you guys picked up the Studio Series Shockwave? What's your favorite Transformer movie? Of course, GoBots, the smarter thing. Please let us know in the comments. We also have an Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest, and Facebook. If you guys like to keep up with the David channel and donate, we greatly appreciate it. We also have Mask Art and T-shirt shop too, if you guys like to check that out. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a ranger today. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.